Man, oh man, have I missed hearing these beautiful cars running around the track here at Deep Forest Raceway here in Switzerland. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Grand Prestige League. This time it is time for the 2025 Deep Forest Raceway Super Formula 500. At least the qualifying. So, hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I'm going to be your host and commentator today for what is the qualifying session here at the Grand Prestige League 2025 Super Formula 500. So, I'm going to talk to you a bit about the circuit as we go ahead and get underway, but first and foremost, I want to go ahead and give a massive shout out to our brand new affiliate partner, W Energy. Now, W Energy, if you're familiar with Game Fuel, or G Fuel as it is known nowadays, then it is pretty much the same concept, although this one is a healthier alternative to the other energy drinks, including Red Bull, Monster, and etc. No artificial dyes, no artificial colors, no artificial sweeteners, or things you can't really pronounce. So it's a healthier alternative to the average energy drink that you may drink. If you want to go ahead and support the league and get yourself a fantastic tasting drink, go ahead and head over to w.gg and use promo code GPL, all caps, if the capitalization matters, for a 10% discount on your next order. Now, sponsorship out of the way, let's go and talk about the action going on here on track. So, there are currently 8 drivers here in qualifying. So, qualifying, I believe, is not quite underway just yet. A few drivers going ahead and getting some practice laps in. So let's go ahead and just talk to you guys a bit about who we have on the grid. So first and foremost, he competed last season in a few races with the BMW M Sport team. It is the Portuguese driver, the number 10 of Comer, getting a little slidey around the exit of turn number 1. So that is unfortunate for him, but hey, luckily it is only practice. And then we have a driver from the Foxhound Speed Group known as Whiplash, a very solid driver from last season in the number 4 Foxhound Speed Group machine. And then we have Alex, a driver who progressed quite a lot in the recent times. A multiple race winner last season in the WEC when it comes to the Super Formula Championship, racing for Porsche Motorsports again. And also, he's been doing a stint in another GT3 series where he's got a few race wins there as well. So Alex was commonly viewed as the driver that made the most progress in driving compared to the GT500 season to the last season of Super Formula, season number 6. His teammate, Nicholas Boita, in the number 6 Porsche Motorsports machine. Exo Rogue, who is a newcomer, part of the Exodus Motorsports, and he's into the wall. Got a little bit of damage there as we're about to get underway. And then we have Yuki, one of the Constructors champions, the other Constructor champion of Lusion, running a brand new livery for today. He was a championship leader up until the last race at Interlagos, just runner-up in the championship for the WEC. Unfortunate stuff for him. Takadono was a very strong driver from the Red Bull Adidas squad. Got a special livery for the SF500 with Deep Forest Raceway on his airbox. So that is the 8 drivers we have currently. I know another driver named Declan has went ahead and joined in, an IRO karting driver. So he's been doing some real world racing as well, which is always awesome to see. Also part of the Exodus Motorsports team. So it'll be interesting to see how the Exodus Motorsports drivers kind of fall into place when it comes to the season up ahead. But let's go and talk to you guys about a few plans, a few officialized plans that we have coming up here. So obviously we have qualifying today for the SF500, and then starting tomorrow, tomorrow is a gap day, and then on Sunday around the same time period we have 118 laps around this amazing circuit. Let me tell you about it. Although unfortunately I accidentally printed my track map backwards, but here we go. 18 corners around this track with the longest straightaway being 0.48 miles or 675 meters. The run from turn 1 all the way down to turn number 2, or if you go on the reverse layout, which is what I unfortunately printed my track map as, it is turns 18 to turn 1. But it's a mid-speed track here, so 4.25 kilometers, 4.25 kilometers, around 2.461 miles. It has been present in every single Gran Turismo game with the exception of GT Sport. 18 corners, mid-speed, and we are here in Switzerland, and it is time for 20 minutes of Super Formula qualifying, and it is go time here, ladies and gentlemen. So, how this is all going to work is that you're only allowed to run the soft tire compound, although I'm not sure why you'd really run anything else, because the soft tire, as we all know, is the fastest tire in the Gran Turismo racing tire range. Whether you're running the Michelins, the Yokohamas, the Falcons, or whatever tire you may be running on your vehicle, it's all still the same. The Racing Soft is the tire to be on. I mean, you could run intermediates if you so desire, but with no inclination of rain coming to this circuit for either qualifying or the full race, then I don't exactly expect anyone to run the intermediate or wet tires. But so now that we've done that, and while some of these drivers are still on their out laps, let's go ahead and talk a bit about what's coming up here in the future, as Lujan, championship runner-up, does go ahead and get a good start for his lap as he goes down into turn number 1. So after the Super Formula 500, we have the LMP Masters series coming up. So if you remember the GT500 series from last year, we're doing another series, but this time it is LMP Masters, and I believe dates are still being officialized for that. But it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very fun series. So expect some very popular endurance racing tracks. Expect Le Mans to be on the calendar, and quite a few other tracks. The actual tracks are still up for grabs, so we haven't fully decided on the tracks. And then we have a GPL 250 also coming up, so another new special event that we're adding to our repertoire. And then, of course, in November of this year, we'll be pre-qualifying for season number 7 of the Super Formula Series here at GPL. And we're kicking things off strong here as Lujan goes ahead and sets the fastest time right now of this session with a 108.948. So we're going to go ahead and check in on the newcomer here of Rogue, which Rogue, the Dutch driver, has actually went ahead and put in a pretty solid lap for his first time around here. The Dutch driver currently sitting in P6, and now he's actually in the wall, so he's going to reset the pits, going to get back out on track. So X's Motorsports does have quite a good amount of representation, and Declan, aka Declan Spillane there, in the Ferrari XO machine, which is a really nice color combination that I was not expecting to see here today. Because if you remember from last season, Exodus Motorsports ran with the XO Aston Martin style machine. So for this one, we have the XO Ferrari, which may be an indicator of what's to come next season. So it'll be interesting to see here. So with that all being said, I think it's going to be an interesting qualifying session. For predictions, in some practice sessions I looked in on earlier, Comer was looking very strong, the BMW driver currently on track from Portugal. But right now, Lujan's pace is looking very strong in its own. So I think, and it's going to be a wild prediction, which I'm probably going to end up getting wrong, and it's probably going to be between Comer, Alex, and Lujan, I think, are going to be our potential pole sitters. But for drivers who are unable to make the qualifying today, there is a 5-minute qualifying shootout offered to others, which I believe will take place tomorrow, although I do not believe that there will be a stream for that. So it is just going to be this stream right here, and then we'll do another full live stream with myself once again in the commentary booth, and I will be in the commentary booth for the entirety of the season. I do want to thank GPL for giving me an opportunity to commentate for not only the SF500 but for every event coming up, and I just really appreciate it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun this season. We're looking forward to how this goes, and I mean, I'm also just looking forward to the SF500 in general. The first time I ever commentated here at GPL was the SF500 last year at Spa-Francorchamps. So that's always gonna be a pretty special memory of mine. So, and also D-Force Racer was such a certified banger last time out when we hit here for SWT and WEC. So, and I've heard some things about the plans for the upcoming WEC and SWT plans, and honestly, it's some really spicy stuff. So be sure to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of this intense action, which I can certainly promise you that you do not. So we're gonna go ahead and actually jump on board with Ducadono. Once he goes ahead and begins his lap, we're gonna jump on board with one of the Dutch drivers currently on circuit at the moment. He's navigating his way through the trickiest part of the track, but now he's gonna go ahead and go onto the massive back straight through the tunnel, and I'm surprised that this isn't considered the longest straight. I guess there is a very slight little kink, but here we go. He's gonna make his way through this very cinematic tunnel sequence. And another difference you might notice from if you watched us during the Super Formula races we had here previously, last season, you may notice that it is actually a bit dusk outside. And so, yeah, we're running this race in the evening, which is a bit of a new one. But now, we're gonna head to Ducadono. Go ahead and get his qualifying run underway. So riding on board now with the Dutchman, going down into first gear, revving his Super Formula car to the max. Gonna power it out of turn one, going through the S's and going through what I like to call the bottle opener corner. He's gonna go straight and then make another right hand turn, going through it, and another set of smaller S's. You can pretty much go full throttle through most of these. And now you're gonna go onto the little mini bridge before going into the left-hander, going into the straightaway, going through the first tunnel, the natural lighting tunnel, and now we're carving through the Swiss mountainside in the illuminated tunnel, making his way all the way down to the final mini hairpin on the track. Now he's gonna go ahead and exit through turn 15. Now he's gonna make his way through turns 16, 17, and oh, it's a half-second time penalty for the Dutchman, so he's gonna go ahead and reset, and we're gonna jump back on board. Let's actually jump on board with the other Dutch driver of Rogue, who has improved his time up. He will go ahead of his countryman, but remember, this is a post-season race, so pretty much everything from here up until the end or the beginning of the next Super Formula season, it's every man or driver for themselves. It's every driver for themselves for this season. And well, for the SF500, the GPL 250 coming up, and also the LMP Masters. Just like the GT500 sub-series last year, it is going to be every driver for themselves. The Super Formula 500 is no exception. There's not really any points on the line, but if you win, you're gonna have some serious bragging rights. Because this is a tough race to do. Like, even a regular 18 lap race can be very tough and competitive around this track, let alone 118 of them. So I have a lot of respect for these drivers attempting this very amazing challenge, and you're not gonna find anything like it anywhere else but here at the Grand Prestige League. Go ahead and follow us on our social media as well at Grand Prestige League, and hopefully we will see you guys on the next streams. And maybe if you're interested, let us know in the comments that if you would like to get involved here with the Super Formula Racing, we'll send you an invite to the Discord and get you all registered and ready to go for our upcoming events, because there's quite a few and they're all gonna be bangers. So right now we're just about halfway through this qualifying session. Illusion's still in the lead right now. Alex, though, is only just 2/10 apart. A little less than 2/10, 1.72 tenths. And only a 72/100ths behind is Whiplash. So Whiplash, once again, showing that pace that we've seen from him in the Super Formula season. Nicholas Boita, though, so the top 3 are separated. Actually, the top 5 are separated by less than half a second. So, I mean, the biggest gap from anybody, I think, is between Illusion and Alex. But that just shows you how competitive this field is. And this is exactly what we saw during the Super Formula season in both WEC and SWT. So for those of you who may be joining who might be new to how we do things here at the Grand Prestige League, first and foremost, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you. And so how we run things is we have 2 divisions. We have the WEC, or the World Elite Championship, not the World Endurance Championship like the FIA has, but the World Elite Championship are some of, if not the best drivers in Super Formula in Gran Turismo. Some of these drivers can easily give some of the Gran Turismo professionals a run for their money in these Super Formula machines. And then we have SWT for Sprint World Tour. Shorter races, but the competition is equally as fierce. So we run them pretty much every other week whenever we get started with the Super Formula season. Dates and races should be announced in the nearby future, but first and foremost, there is the LMP Masters. But before we get there, we have to go through the rest of qualifying. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to ride on board with another Dutchman of XL Rogue, heading onto, let's go to the top of his halo. Oh, that is the wrong camera. I'll get these cameras correct one of these days. There we go. Now we're on the right camera. Now he's going to go ahead and make his way through the twisty S's here at Deep Forest Raceway. Now he's going through what I like to call the bottle opener. He's going to go ahead and make his way through. Now he's going through the second set of S's. Going to go ahead and navigate very nicely. Full throttle. You can hear the tires squealing just a bit. Going through the bridge. A bit wide on the exit of the bridge, though. And now he's going to go first into the natural lighting tunnel. Going to go ahead and put foot to the floor now, burning that overtake. He's 57/100ths up on his previous time as he exits the illuminate tunnel. Now down into the very, very steep hairpin. And he's going to go ahead and put pedal to the metal. And you're pretty much going flat out through the rest of this section of the track. So he's going to see if he can make an improvement and maybe jump Declan. Is he going to do it? I don't think so. It's going to actually not even be an improvement on his time. So the qualifying is a solid 20 minutes. So we're most of the way there already. So we have about 7-ish minutes left to go in this qualifying session. Illusion still leads the way, but Boita did insert himself into P2. So, I mean, these 2 drivers have fought before in WEC. Although it wasn't his main championship rival, but we've seen oh, that's a bit of a spin there for Illusion, and we're gonna have to probably get that on a replay if we can. There it is. So he's gonna come through. Let's just see what happens. Looking at the Snake Oil Super Formula car. Does he get a bit too much on the grass? Or just a little bit too much power on exit? Yep. Just a little too much. I mean, sometimes that happens. It is a tricky track to navigate at points, which made it a really strong pick for the Super Formula 500 for this year. Last time we were at Spa-Francorchamps, another very amazing track for racing. And the racing here this season was absolutely fantastic, and I'm expecting nothing less here from the Super Formula 500. Quite a bit longer than our usual races at this circuit, but it's not a challenge for nothing. So this is arguably one of the most prestigious races that you can win here in Super Formula. As Boita's going to go ahead and begin his next flyer, as we got a little under 6 minutes left to go on the clock. Boita's now going to go and navigate through turn 1. Going to use all of the curb, maybe touch a little bit of grass there as he enters the first section of S's. As Comer now jumps up into second place. Only 14 hundredths ahead. But Boita is improving. Marginally, but he's improving. After sector 1, he was up by 3 thousandths of a second. It'll be enough to improve his time, but not his position. The Brazilian driver didn't have the home race that he wanted to previously. So now he's going to go through the illuminated tunnel, or sorry, the natural lighting tunnel, into the illuminated tunnel through the mountainside here at Switzerland. And I think he might just consider this a bit of a warm-up now. We saw him do a little bit of a weave inside of the tunnel, unless that was a bit of the connectivity shenanigans that Gran Turismo is unfortunately very well known for. I don't know what that was. So he's going to go and put pedal to the metal. He's going to burn the overtake. Is he going to be good enough to jump up into the lead? No, he lost 8/10 on that little wiggle there. Now we're going to drop down to his teammate. Can his teammate improve? Can his teammate get pole position here at the SF500? It's going to be a close one, but not quite. He was 2/10 off of his time, but he's only 8 thousandths ahead of Whiplash. So, I mean, the top 5 separated by less than 2/10 of a second, which is a really, really competitive session here. So we're going to head on board with Declan now in the XO Ferrari, which is still a weird thing to get used to. I wonder if it's going to be XO Ferrari next season for Super Formula. That'll be an interesting one. To make the pivot from Aston Martin to Ferrari. Although in real world Formula 1, you're not sure who to really bet on because they both seem to have a little bit of struggle at the moment. Declan does get a bit wide there on the exit going onto the bridge. Gets a little bit into the gravel. The Irish driver currently in P6 here at the moment. He's going to go ahead and go through the illuminated tunnel now. A very pretty sight to see. Now he's going to make his way into the final hairpin on the track. And now pretty much once he gets the power down, it's pedal to the metal. Good throttle management to not burn the tires out. He's low on fuel and he's going to start burning the overtake unless he's going to come into the pits. He is coming into the pits. So now we're going to jump down to Whiplash, the American driver. Only 8 thousandths behind Alex and only 180 tenths behind Illusion, our current pole sitter here. So we'll see how this one plays out. Whiplash, we know Whiplash is quick. He's going to start burning the overtake. He's going to go ahead, is now straight to the line. He might actually get it. Not quite. Not quite an improvement on his time either. It's always so close coming up to the end. Now let's see if Comer's got anything to do. He's about to go ahead and start a lap. The Portuguese driver about to get things going here. Now luckily, unlike Spa, this is actually a very quick track to go ahead and get an outlap on. So, I mean, your outlap is probably going to take about a minute and a half at most, and that is if you do a lot of tire warming. If you go just flat out, you can probably get in about a minute 15, roughly, if not quicker. So Comer, once again, a lot of these drivers are getting very wide on the exit of the first hairpin. Getting a bit into the grass a bit. He's making his way through the S's, through the bottle opener. Oh, it looks like he smacked the wall there, but maybe that was just a bit of a connectivity spike. We'll just have to see. Comer now, 6 thousandths ahead of his previous time, so it's going to be an improvement. He'll pull him to 2 hundredths away from Boita, but it won't be enough. Oh, there's a half-second penalty. That time is scrubbed. Let's see if Boita can go ahead and improve. Can the Brazilian driver get retribution and go ahead and start this race from pole position? He's going to have to burn the overtake. He hasn't really burned a lot of overtake though, so maybe he's going to try to go again. He is not improving on his time. 3 seconds off the pace, but now we're going to stay on board with him because this has the potential to be a really good lap. Now, here's the thing about Boita that we have seen throughout the Super Formula season. If he doesn't get a pole position, he can still have a really good shot at winning the race because this man has been very generous with his tires. So he is definitely the biggest tire whisperer in GPL in recent memory. So Boita's really gentle on his tires. He can make that car go really fast and not burn up his tires. I mean, personally, I struggle with both, getting the car to go fast and also chewing through my tires like a toddler chewing through bubble gum. He's going through the tunnels now. He he might actually pick up a bit of a draft from Comer up ahead, the European driver. He's going to go ahead and put pedal to the metal now, as Boita is going to try to usurp Lucian. He is only going to have one more lap to go after this, because we are winding down the clock. And Lucian's in the pits. He's not going to go for another round. It's not faster though, so he's really going to have to make this one count. We're going to check on Lucian's teammate, Yuki, because we haven't really given him much attention here tonight. He's making his way through the SS. This is his going to be, oh, little touch of the wall there for the Japanese driver. He's going to put pedal to the metal now. Yuki is now slamming the throttle through the tunnel, through the illuminated tunnel, through the mountain. He is up on his previous time. So Declan is done and Illusion is done. Oh, there's a spin in the tunnel. I'm not sure who that was. I don't know who that was, who just spun in the tunnel there, but that's definitely a lap done for whoever that was. One more corner left to navigate. Can Yuki surpass his teammate in this? Not quite, but he will improve up to 6th. So let's check on who else we got here. Alex is going to go for it. Can Alex go ahead and improve his time? Nope, he's going to be way off the pace. That's this time done and dusted. What about Boita? Boita's going to come across the line. Not an improvement for him. So we can take a look at Rogue. All right, Rogue is done. Ducadono is done. So that is the qualifying session here. Done and dusted, I believe. Yeah, now we're just waiting for that timer to go ahead and run out. But getting pole position is one thing around this track, and congratulations to the Snake Oil Super Formula car of Illusion for getting pole position here. But you have to get through 118 laps to go ahead and win the race. So he's got a long way to go if he wants to go ahead and secure the SF500 W. And now we're just waiting for the timer to run out. Yeah, and Illusion's even saying in chat that it was so hard to set up a lap. Yeah, I mean, this isn't like Spa, where Spa, you have a lot of real estate, because Spa is right around, I think, a 7.004 kilometer long circuit. And it's definitely not like the Le Mans or Nürburgring, where you typically have a good amount of real estate. This track is pretty compact, only less than 2.5 miles around, but once again, we're going to go ahead and run through our results here for the Super Formula SF500 qualifying. It is going to be Illusion ahead of Comer by only just over 1/10 of a second. And then it is Nicholas Boita, Alex, Whiplash, Yuki, Declan Spillane, Rogue, and then Ducadono coming in P9. There's still a shootout left to go though, although I do not believe the shootout will be streamed to my knowledge. But if it is, we'll be right back here tomorrow, or it might even be later today, if I'm not mistaken. Not exactly sure, but obviously go ahead and stay up to date. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss if we do have that shootout, and more importantly, so you don't miss the very intense Super Formula 500 that's coming up. We may only have 9 drivers competing in the SF500, and also all of the other drivers, so at maximum we'll have 14 drivers, which if you compare that to the Indy 500, which has 33 drivers, you may think, oh, well, the racing isn't going to be that spicy. That is probably the biggest misconception in the world. This race on Sunday is going to be really competitive, and alright, so now that the grid is set for tomorrow's race, at least the first 9 drivers and the other drivers who weren't able to make qualifying, that is going to be it. Before we go, I do want to go ahead and once again give a plug to our partners at Dubby Energy. Go ahead and use promo code GPL at dubby.gg for a 10% discount. Once again, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekas, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Have a good night.